Greetings, conscious breathers, infinite beings alike, breath family. So, this week on mental breathwork, I want to go over echo breathing and how and why Ip Man, being so scrawny as he was, how did he take on huge opponents? How did he how did he held himself against bigger martial artists, so to speak? And if you don't know who Ip Man is, I highly recommend you even watch the movies. Movies are somewhat accurate. So Ip Man was actually one of Bruce Lee's mentors, early mentors, and he developed something called Wing Chun, which is it's a martial art that basically is mainly used for self-defense, not mainly used for fighting. And it's so powerfully, it's like a self-defense mixed with fighting, if you want, so to speak. And the way that it was portrayed was, it's a deadly weapon, but it's mainly used for self-defense, not mainly for attacking, actually. You would actually use your opponent's weight also against them as well. So it had that essence to it where you have to shift when someone is attacking you a certain way and use the fluidity of their energy and shift it in different ways and different mechanisms. It's honestly one of my favorite martial arts that I've been researching for so long. And one of the main reasons why I don't actually, I'm not too hesitant to join a martial arts school that teaches it, because Ip Man, he left his legacy to only one student. He said, out of all my students, not even Bruce Lee, out of all my students, this one student surpassed me because this student gets it. And what he meant by that is everyone is so focused on the physical aspect that Wing Chun connects with your breath and the certain movements. So echo breathing, utilizing echo breathing and what it is, and I'm going to relate it to how and why Ip Man was so powerful and what Wing Chun really is doing, and why Wing Chun is such a powerful practice in general, and how you can utilize this in any Kung Fu, Tai Chi, qigong practice you do. You can implement this to the T. And this is where your breathing will elevate to the next level in anything you do. So what echo breathing is whatever breath work you do or whatever practice you can easily retrace in your mind in something simple. Let's take, for instance, the vertical breath. So vertical breathing, I'm going to show you an example of vertical breathing with the hands energetically and mixing the connecting breath. So on your exhales, your hands, your palms would be facing you. On your inhales, your hands would be out, coming down. Yeah, my hands is already pulsating, so I'm so used to the energy already. And I'll go into why and how. So on the inhale, your hand comes down. On your exhale, your palms face you, going up. Inhale, hands coming down. Exhale, hands going up. Inhale, hands coming down, facing outward. Exhale, palms going in, because you're inhaling that energy, so to speak, how the energy comes down. And the exhale, you're pushing that energy towards you, healing-wise, and you're bringing up and you're harmonizing with the flow of the breath going back and forth, right? So let's take that instance. So let's say I'm done, I'm walking out and about. So as I am normally breathing with my normal breath, inhale, exhale, I am going to reimagine, as I'm exhaling, my palms facing me, going up. As I'm taking a regular inhale, I'm seeing my hands going down, facing outwardly, back and forth, back and forth. So that is what echo breathing is. Let's say I do thunder breathing and I'm tapping and I'm tapping and I'm tapping, right? I'm tapping only on the exhales, right? So only on the exhales I'm tapping. On the inhales, I let go. Exhales. So I'm reimagining this sound all the way down to the feeling, all the way down to the hand. Which hand am I using in that? So let's say you do whatever breathwork practice or qigong, KungFu practice that you do. If you can tie in when you exhale, when you know for a fact that, oh, I exhale when I do this, I inhale when I do that, I exhale when I do that, you are going to take that and echo it into the mental side. And it's like you're breathing as two people. And to bring it up another notch, if you can reimagine multiple versions of yourself doing that, it's a whole nother ball game. And it's an energetic resonance that a muscle beyond the mind. Now we're tapping into the subconscious and the creative force that is. So, if you can imagine that, multiple versions of yourself, not just one, then now we're diving into the expansion breathing. So, tying in with the expansion breathing and the echo breathing, this is how you can bump it up another notch if you feel like you can actually do it. And that's why I want to open that invitation to you. So on your exhales, still reimagine, I'm just giving the example, going back to the vertical breath and the hand movement. On the vertical breath, as you're exhaling upwards, see yourself multiplying outwardly, and you're doing just that. And then on your inhale, see yourself coming back into one, but your hand is still going down like that. Same thing, let's say, now I'm gonna bring it up another notch. Exercise, right? So on your exhales, let's say you're doing pull-ups. On your exhales, that's when you actually pull up, right? So just reimagine that. On your exhales, you're pulling up yourself. You're doing the pull-ups. Let's say you're doing, you're hitting a punching bag. On your exhales, that's when you punch, right? If you can tie in, or what you can do too is if you want to go another notch, another segue into exercise, let's say you really slow down your exhales, and that's when you exert energy, so to speak, right? So what do I mean? Let's say you're slowing down your exhales so much that while you slow down your exhales, that's when you're walking, or that's when you're punching, or that's when you're pulling up and you're going for multiple reps rather than just one exhale. And then when you inhale, you just stop. You stop what you're doing. You just inhale, you stop, you be still. And then the exhales, that's when you go at it. And then down with the echo breathing, that's when you can tie in those factors, because now it makes it easier to say, hey, I'm actually exhaling right now, and that's when I'm actually doing such and such, whatever the case may be. So you can imprint it that way and play around with it and have fun with it. All right. Thank you all for sharing the breath. Echo breathing will increase. Oh, now going back to the Ip Man factor. Can't forget about that. So the Ip Man factor. So what made Wing Chun, what made Ip Man specifically so powerful is because he utilized this type of practice where he would simply just visualize himself doing all the moves back and forth. And there was actually one particular movie within the franchise, I think it was towards the end, or the Legends, where all the legends came together. But they went over that. And that is the true missing piece. I'm not going to say the true practice, but that is the true missing art within Wing Chun. And that's why that one student surpassed all of them, because he did exactly that. He understood. That is a power we all have. And just like that, if you can exercise this muscle over and over and over and over again, in your mental. Watch. When you go back and do that specific exercise, or you go back and do that specific practice, feel how different it really is. All right. Thank you all for sharing the breath. And this helps with the contrast. This helps us acknowledge the many dimensions that is within our lives. And one can even say trees do this. One can even say plants do this, right? It's not as simple as, let's say you look at a forest that's simply untouched by man's hands, right? So something to note, when trees are formed, there is a combustion of air. And this combustion of air is what brings up the certain nutrients and soil from the ground, and certain micronutrients from the air itself, and creates air pressure within certain pockets of the forest that's untouched. I'm talking about untouched by human hands, right? And what happens is this combustion happens and creates a chemical resonance within the soil, the macronutrients, the seeds, essence of the seeds, and then compile it and then sprouts it on the ground. So technically trees literally come from air. It literally comes from air, okay? But what within that consciousness allows the same tree or the same type of fruit or the same type of plant just to sprout just like that? Well, let's look at the 100 monkey effect. Look at that, where they taught one monkey doing a specific thing, and then all the way in another country, the monkey start doing the same exact thing. Not even meeting the monkey, not even being trained. They did the same exact thing. So that ties into what echo breathing does as well. You are echoing back into a certain point in time, but what is time really? You're echoing back a certain point within your subconscious and connecting that, and even getting stronger, even while actually without doing the workouts, without actually doing the certain exercises, so to speak, physically. But when you can do it mentally and you can tie in with the breath, because the breath makes it easy to make it feasible into the mind and the subconscious to say that even though I'm not working out physically, I am working out somewhat at a certain percentage within my essence and being. And that's echoing. That's how the greats get better. Just like Kobe Bryant, before he goes up on stage, so many times, I imagine myself hitting the basket, shooting my form. There it is. There it is. There it is. But utilize the breath as a foundational connection to know when you exhale, when you inhale, and it's going to be easier to tie into the mental side of the echo breathing. Thank you all for sharing the breath. Enjoy. Pace and comment below your experiences. Peace and harmony.